In another time. In another dimension. Bearded warriors. Trapped in an eternity of vapid space. Doomed to wander the galaxy. Broadcasting their nonsense to the void. This is StarCast.
Hello, everybody.
Shit. Hello.
Hello.
What's good, folks?
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back after our short
Finally.
hiatus. Yes.
Lots
We
of stuff
all-
has happened.
All of us.
Are bearded.
Yes, we're here.
We all have beards.
Beautiful.
I started growing mine.
It's looking good. Don't give up. You're at the rough stage right now.
It is the rough stage. My mustache is all prickly and it's pissing me off. It's been pissing me off for like a few weeks now.
Yeah. You'll make
But
it.
I'll stick through it and I'll have that nice poofy full beard.
You gotta get beard oil, because it just softens it up and it just makes it just so...
I've been thinking about that. I don't know where to get beard oil though. I'm sure I can find it in Chicago though.
I got it on
That's
Amazon,
right.
yeah.
It's right next to WD-40 and 30 weight.
It would probably work.
Excellent.
A little
Maybe just put some
WD-40.
WD-40 on my beard.
That would be excellent.
I have WD-40. I mean, I could just like rub some on my beard.
That's why you have the little straw thing that attaches to it, so it doesn't wind up going up your nose.
Hmm.
Just
You
nice,
just
fine.
angle it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I could be very precise in my application.
Yes.
I'm trying to grow it out for the 1-year anniversary of the show Vikings from the History Channel. Or is it History Channel? Yeah. That's where I started growing this beard. I had a goatee up to this point, and I just let it keep going because my wife's like, she wanted to braid it and put little bobbles and stuff in it.
That's cool.
That'd be
That's
baller.
really cool.
So that'll come up at some point. So hello everybody, welcome to the show. We're back as we just mentioned, and tonight we have a special guest, Mr. SgtStakas.
Yay!
And I left the topic up for later. We're not talking about stretch goals right now.
Nice.
Let's talk about SgtStakas. So, all right, Stakas, tell us all about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do? What do you like in women, men, whatever?
What do I like in them? Well, let's see.
That's right.
Me.
Leaf blowers. Me.
That's right. I like my women like I like my sandwiches in a plastic bag and in the No. From Australia, if you can't tell.
Yeah, I thought that was
Yeah. Who would have thought?
German accent.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a German
It's a very good
accent.
German accent, yes.
Yeah. Basically, I'm on all the time. I'm never not online, as Damo can attest.
Absolutely.
Everywhere. Trendane everywhere. Geekdomo everywhere. I'm just literally everywhere.
I was watching Toadbrand a little while ago. He had one viewer. It was you.
What can I say?
Yeah.
At the moment, the two games that are pretty much dominating my existence online are pretty much Landmark and Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Play lots of other stuff though, into like Battlefield and Borderlands and all that sort of stuff. Got Steam, all the Steam games. I don't know what else you want to know about me.
What chips do you have?
Oh, yeah.
Ships.
Ships.
Yeah, yep, cool. Okay, so I've got a Connie Constellation.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 2 freelancers. I bought a second one to melt for a variant when they finally get announced. When they get announced. I've also got a 315 jumper iron. Origin jump, sorry, my bad. What else have I got? I've got a Ghost, Hornet Ghost.
Nice.
I've also got 2 cutlasses because I bought a second cutlass because I heard they're also going to have 2 variants of the cutlass. One was going to be sort of specific, pirate vessel.
Oh,
Although
nice.
they state, oh no, the cutlass is not a pirate vessel. It's a pirate. It's a pirate vessel. But they said that they were going to have a variant that was more towards salvage and rescue, and so I thought, well, okay, I could do that.
By salvage, you mean plunder.
Yeah. Plunder the booty.
Well, yeah, I'm out salvaging booty from people. So yeah, I've got a second one of those to melt for a variant, and if they don't end up bringing out that variant, if it's just hot air, I can always melt that. And if they bring out any of the other cool ships that I missed out, because I was one of the ones that came in after LTI. Sorry, I swore. I said
Okay.
the LTI.
It's all right. Yeah. It's all right. We'll let it fly.
I was like,
Oh.
you did?
Yeah, yeah. But I came in after LTI, so it's not an issue for me. Like, I actually hate it when people talk about it. Oh, limited. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of ships that were on sale before that I missed out on that I would have liked to get my hands on. The Caterpillar looks pretty good. I saw some work in progress 3D shots of the insides of that, and it looks pretty decent. So I was hoping I have a couple of ships sort of like cash in the wallet to melt for that if it ever pops up. But I think I'm missing something. I've got a Avenger as well.
How about an Idris? Got 2 or 3 of those?
Yeah, all the Idrises.
All of them.
No. I'm
Awesome.
pretty sure that's it. Yeah,
You're probably second place to Core here.
yeah.
the
I have
number of
not got as
ships.
many. I've got 9 ships in total.
Wow.
I know that. So
I've got less ships, but
yeah, but you've got
Bigger
one of those
ones.
little.
How's it
one of
go?
one of those little. What do you
not,
call
not
it?
the size.
The things
Yours?
that can carry all your other ships, right? that one.
I believe those are called planets.
Yes.
Death Stars.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Bye. Oh, no, wait, not bye.
Not you.
Oh.
You're always here.
I just thought, okay, there, we're done with you.
We're done. Yeah, we're done. Let's go.
Eject.
We've done a show for 8 minutes now. We're done. So, real quick, everybody, I did forget, and thank you, Bod, for mentioning it to everybody. Questions go in brackets. Ask a question of us. We will do our best to answer it. We are not developers. We're just fans like you guys who like to sit here and shoot the shit, basically. Basically. All right, so let's get to our first topic tonight then, and while we're doing this, please send the questions in. We're going to talk about the next great starship. So I've watched both episodes. There is a very high production value on them. So much so that a lot of the comments have to do with something like, quit with this shit, make us a game. Is pretty much what I've been seeing in most of the comments.
To be honest, I think they're overreaching with the budget that they're throwing together for this. I mean, at the end of the day, it was supposed to be like a contest,
Yeah.
We wouldn't mind if it's 10-minute videos just literally detailing, these are our choices, these are our decisions, look at these pretty pictures. That's fine. I really don't need to know the history of the ham or the history of why they chose this color. It's just, it's too much for me.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I don't mind it so much because it's pretty clear that they shot all 3 videos on the same day.
Because of what Mark's wearing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in a second.
So because of that, I don't think it actually took up all. I think they knocked it out in one day, and it didn't actually take up all that much development time. And if people want to go watch it, they can watch it. The problem that I have with it is it's really difficult. Sometimes if you're trying to remember, like, what one specific weapon was, like, that weapon was really cool, but you can't remember precisely where it was in any specific video.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while to try and find it, and there's no annotations or anything, so because the videos are like 40 minutes long, it's just like, well, fuck, it's gonna take me like half an hour.
It's like literally a TV show.
Yeah, it's a TV show. It is probably almost cable ready. I could see it on Sci-Fi Channel or something. I mean, it's
Annotations would be good. You're right on that one.
yeah.
They have got annotations on the individual submission videos, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they've got. So as you go through the video, you can then click it to see the full entry, but there's no annotation at the beginning. Hey, if you want to see entry 1, click here.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see entry 2, click this, But that's about... I will just say that they did actually state, before they even launched the first app, that that's what they were going for. They wanted like a reality style vibe to it, and in that respect, they've got it.
Yeah,
I would agree. I would think it feels very, face-off, chopped kind of, sort of thing. I like hearing the judges' feedback because for those artists, I'm not going to even put quotey fingers around it because they are artists who aren't involved, who didn't even get to the thing. That's the kind of feedback that they will need to know. Whether it's for this particular project or some other project down the road, these are things that they need to think about. And so I do like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Very much.
I love the for those who have not seen it yet, basically they started off where they brought in everybody and said, okay, these are the ones we sort of like, these are some cool concepts, and then they said, why don't you guys make us a gun? And so the first thing that they all had to do was make guns, and then they went through the guns and picked out the best ones that they saw. Now, did you guys think that the gun had to be a Gatling gun? Because it seems like that's pretty much all they've made. I mean, there's a couple that aren't Gatling guns, but for the most part, they're all Gatling guns. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I think that it was strange that so many of them had, the whole individual barrel thing. A lot of them also use the individual barrel recoil idea, where, as each barrel fires, it recoils individually.
Yeah.
That was, I guess, the hive mind aspect. When people think about, I think the reason it happened is because the whole idea was that they were supposed to design a gun that combined sort of an alien aesthetic or potential alien aesthetic with, some sort of human weaponry. And I guess when people think about human weaponry, they think about, the Maxim gun or the Gatling gun.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were discussing it on the Base radio show when I was on 2 weeks ago when we were first talking about it, and they, if I remember correctly, they were specifically instructed to create a Gatling-style gun.
Well, there we go. Okay, I didn't know that part.
I didn't know that either.
Okay.
No.
Well, there you go. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense.
Right.
So then there was ones who didn't.
Too.
Yes, because there's a couple of just like laser guns, and which is great.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, these are the only people who thought outside the box, but actually they weren't following the instructions.
Yeah.
What do you
They
think,
were just
Stakas?
ignoring the box completely, actually.
I don't know. There were a couple of guns, and more specifically in this latest show. Where was it? It was from Vision Cuts. They had a very, very human-style front with about 5 or 6 barrels, or with the individual recoil, and they had this really weird, almost reptilian-style.
Yeah.
Oh, the one with the hexagons on the back.
Yeah, that's right.
I saw that one.
And they were very critical of that gun because they just sort of said it looks like human on the front and alien on the back, and to a degree they were right. But I think also the problem is, and I'd say this towards the judges themselves, they've said make a hybrid alien human gun. The year's 2944. That's in, like 930 years. What's to say that our technology hasn't progressed past bolts and nuts and a very traditional looking style? What's to say that the human technology at that point in time doesn't look like alien technology? And they're very overly critical of stuff that looks too alien. Oh no, I don't like that. It looks too alien. It's like, well, define too alien for
right.
For 900 years in the future.
Our stuff's
define
gonna
too
look
alien.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's right.
I know exactly where you're coming from, but then again, when you look at the ships that they've built, specifically from the human side ship, they're still maintaining that Terran feeling to it.
Yeah.
And I think what they were trying specifically to look for in that particular scenario is that they were looking for something that goes in line with the manufacturing lines that they've already kind of thrown out there.
Right, exactly.
But other than that, your point is 100% completely valid. 900 years in the future, we might be, transcendent beings floating around in information space.
No, you are right, yeah.
And I think that
aspect.
their criticism also, it sort of sat along, I think, a different line. I think they said that. They said exactly what you said. But I have a feeling that what they meant was that it wasn't necessarily the gun was too alien, but it was that the aesthetic itself didn't flow through the entire design of the piece. So you had that human front and sort of alien-esque exterior, and I actually quite like the gun. I kind of like the way it looked in general, but I can see what they mean that, the back doesn't, the aesthetic of the rear piece doesn't really seem to fit with the front piece.
Oh, no, I agree.
And I think that it makes sense that they would object to that. But I still think that team had a ton of talent because the way they textured that and lit it was incredible, frankly. I mean, they did a really fantastic job on that gun, and I definitely think that they should progress forward in the wildcard seat. I mean, that is probably the best out of all the wildcards that I've seen.
Did they make it in-engine? Did that particular model get into the CryEngine?
I'm pretty sure.
Which one was it again? The
Vision Cuts.
Yeah,
the one with all the little hexagons on the
hexagons. Yeah, sort of half alien.
Yes, there was an engine and it had a really good. It was firing and had good sound effects, but I didn't see what the result was. They didn't show downrange. Would have been cool.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, the barrels looked amazing on that, but I can sort of see what they were saying. Is the front end was just so well put together, and at the end, the rear end was sort of like this sort of blob.
It did. It looked like just a big oval that had been stuck on the back and then textured to look like it was made of different parts. Mm-hmm. I agree with Perfekt. I think for getting it in engine, for getting the effects going, they've definitely got enough talent. Their concept, obviously, and their creative side of it's a little bit.
They just need direction. I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? The difference between this part of the competition and the actual Starship designing is that, during that part they'll actually have some direction from the actual artists and modelers and things, which will help a lot, because it's one thing to sort of have to use concept artwork and things like that to sort of just extrapolate what you think a gun should look like or what you think the general aesthetic of a certain manufacturer is, and it's an entirely different thing to sit down with the person who actually designs the stuff and say, well, this is actually what we feel good metaphors are for these guns and how the different pieces fit together and how they look and work, etc.
69 people. Yeah,
no, we're on 71.
No, but Steve Barry was just making.
You ruined it. 2 people, get out.
Yeah, no. So this is going to take a while because we're only still in the first phase. How many more shows are going to be just for the gun part?
Probably
one more.
One more.
Right.
And then they're going to pick the best teams.
Then a wild card, right?
Wild card. And then all of those teams are going to get together, and they're going to then start working on the ships. And so that could take a while. It's probably going to be a pause, too, between, because I don't think they're going to go right from the guns into the ship. I mean, unless they're talking about, okay, we want landing gear this week. They're going to show landing gear, and then, okay, now we want the hatch. Okay, we want to do the hatch.
People are going to put these things together, and it's going to be like this Frankensteinian nightmare. None of the pieces actually go together.
They were given one. They were given almost a month to complete, like, the gun. So it would be a little bit suspicious to now say, all right, you have 5 days, then we have to make the fucking episode.
Yep.
So make me the entire ship. Go.
That's right.
It's just a brick with some wheels on the bottom and that gun on the side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. The gun, but the ship seems a little crude.
The one thing that I know that a few people on Star Citizen Base have complained about is that they were in the tournament. I'm not sure if they were picked or I'm not sure if they're coming up, but I know that one of their main complaints is that one of the requirements to be on the show and to be graded and to pass was that you had an in-engine gun. And a lot of teams were graded and passed without having an in-engine gun.
They were just using Maya or 3D Studio or whatever.
And I know that was one of the complaints that people had, and I figured I'd at least throw it out there because it does seem a little bit unfair to make it a prerequisite and then discard it because a gun looks cool.
Wasn't it the one with the really organic shell last week that split open? That one, I think, didn't make it in engine as well.
Yeah, there was also one that was a particle accelerator with like a big
I remember that one. That was a good one.
That one was also not an engine, and yet it did pass.
But they loved it. That was that guy from Alaska. But I see I totally see your point, though. It's true that if you make the rules, everyone has to go by them. Otherwise, I
mean, that was the whole reason why they set up like a 3-person team. You have one that focuses on an engine or Crytek, and you've got one that focuses on design and one that focuses on the project, and you've got 3 people. And anyway, it's just I'm not the one complaining. I'm just voicing the concern because I know other people.
It's a valid concern.
It's absolutely a valid concern, and I think that they, especially for people who entered and actually took the time to find somebody who could put their concept in engine. I mean, that's not an easy. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's usually not something somebody would do for free. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, taking the time out to find somebody and then having that person, take their time to work on, putting the thing in engine and making sure it works and making sure the presentation's okay, and then having all that work, that huge chunk of work, kind of discarded because somebody else's gun just sort of looks cooler, even though it's not really an engine. I think that's kind of iffy.
I think what they were doing is Siberian Case is one of the Imperium teams is coming up on the next episode. Thanks, Siberian. All I know is that if you ever want to have something modeled in 3D, you need to hire a Russian or a German. Because it seems like every team had a Russian or a German on it, didn't it?
Oh, it did. No, it certainly did.
Yeah. Speaking of which, people in the chat were saying real quick that they might be releasing dogfighting module on PAX East. I'm going to PAX East, so that would be fantastic if they announced that there.
I'm not sure if they're going to. When they said a couple of months, I was thinking like end of March.
That's what he said on 10 for the Chairman, right? End of March. Beginning of April.
Yeah, which is April 14th, I think, is PAX. I'm going to be there for the 3 days.
I've decided I don't want the dog fighting module anymore. I want the Doge fighting module.
Oh, yeah, Dogecoin, yeah. Start mining those Dogecoins, folks. Make lots of money. Very money. Much currency.
Very much.
See, if I wind up becoming the voice for the AI of somebody's computer, I don't want to sit around going, such target, such target, such target, such target.
Many wins, many wins.
Many missiles.
Many missiles.
That's funny. All right, so the Doge cannon. That's the next gun for the next great strategy. Anything else?
Wow!
Wow!
That's how it fires. That would be awesome.
Anything else you guys want to talk about for it? I was gonna rip into Mark because the whole outfit thing that he's wearing, that shirt.
That shirt.
He watched the video with what's that guy, Macklemore, and said, "I'm gonna pop some tags. I've got $20 in my pocket." And he's going to walk into a thrift shop and buy himself a gold lame shirt. Now, the thing is he's built like I am. We have the same body style. If you were to look at me from profile, I never want you to see me from profile in a gold lame shirt because it's scary and children will cry and there'll be much gnashing of teeth. So it just like irks me every time I see it because he's got this tag that's sticking in the back and the tag's all tattered and the collar's like all, what do you think?
I want to know if he paid if he had $20 to buy a shirt, what he did with the other $17.50. Because seriously, that shirt is. I've seen better clothes on homeless people.
Yeah,
legitimately.
So 70s.
I don't care if he wants to do some sort of outfit. Like if he wanted to wear some kind of like crazy weird thing, I'm totally for that. Like go for it, man. Really, no problems with that. It's just that it looks like he pulled it off a bum to do it, or. It's just really bad.
It's okay. I mean, I think it was fun, and you know, I got that retro vibe. I have a feeling that he shares our tastes in music and kind of our eccentricities. So,
like I said, all about the Gold May. Okay, whatever. It's just that it's so old. It's such a ratty shirt. Go ahead and Trendane. You trying to say.
The only thing that will make that shirt acceptable from this point on is if he's wearing a lavender feather boa to go with it.
My God,
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. And or a purple toupee. I would appreciate that.
Or a pimp hat.
Yeah.
Leopard print.
Pimp hat.
Yep. With some snakeskin shoes.
What, freaking cane? I mean, come on.
Yep.
Can't leave out the cane.
Yeah, why not?
With the big diamond at the end of the 8-ball or the gold cobra.
And the fish tank shoes.
I think like a purple dildo stud.
Yeah. Rico Beer says, are we talking about the potato shirt? Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't let it go. I mean, it's like we were talking about the Next Great Starship, and we were done pretty much talking about this show for this week.
Hey, Rico made all of his comments too, so he's got no room to say, you can't talk about that.
Yeah.
Rico would not shut up about the potato shirt either.
Sorry.
It looked like a potato sack from space.
The thing is, it's already been filmed. Like that's why I think he's wearing it every week. Is like they sat down and they went to our YouTube's recording studio, which it's open to the public. You just have to book it, and so they went there and said, "Okay, let's film our show, and you know, we'll do it all in one shot." What are you laughing at, Trent?
It's just the guy that I have set up to fill in for me next week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just something he just said.
He just said he's going to wear a Golden May shirt, right?
Well, he said I do have a pimp suit, and I said you have to wear that.
Oh,
next week.
absolutely.
Totally.
Yes, he has to wear it.
Yeah.
I am totally fine with that.
See, there you go. Seppi, you got to wear it.
You got to wear it now.
Hey, if I had been pre-warned, I have some costumes that I can wear.
You have the background going on. So
Yeah,
let's
I was
start
about to say,
simple.
you could drape the entire background around you, and that would do it.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, see, I cosplay as a part. No, don't. Yeah.
Don't what?
No, but I cosplay for a pastime. I go to conventions. I dress up, video game characters and all sorts. So I have some costumes.
You have a fantastic Ice King costume, dude. That's
I know.
amazing.
It's great. Did you see the Ghost Rider? I could have pulled that out. I've still got the leather
We
jacket.
already did our introduction. You said nothing about cosplay.
Well, it's
This
not
is
one.
scooted by.
It's not something one brings up in polite conversation.
This is not polite conversation.
Polite
Something.
conversation.
Have you ever seen this show before?
We have the most ridiculous tags on our YouTube videos.
Yeah.
True.
Like,
True.
all of the mature tags on our YouTube videos.
Oh,
just
that,
to-
yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you're
Sorry.
right.
And our second show even contained nudity. I mean, come on.
Well, I did show that nipple that one time.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Animated nipple.
You and Sigourney both.
And
No, yeah. So I got the leather jacket with the 3-inch spikes on the shoulders, and the mask. I could totally have worn that. How entertaining that would have been, I don't know.
yeah.
How comfortable that would be to sit for,
An hour or two,
Oh, the entire outfit with the chain. I have real chrome chain that goes around my shoulders. The entire thing. I got to convert it to Imperial because you guys are weird. 2 times.
No. You can
No, don't
do
bother
metric
with-
for
we don't.
me.
You
It's
can
fine.
keep it metric.
Okay. All right. Well, it's 18 kilos all up. Just
like-
the
So
outfit itself.
just multiply that by 2.2.
That's like 400
Yeah,
pounds.
it's
I
36
think, yeah.
pounds. 36 pounds.
Yeah, the clothes alone weigh 18 kilos. So when I wear that outfit, and if I stood on scales, I'm 18 kilos heavier with that thing. And it's all real leather gear, like real leather
Nice.
riding gear. It's hot as crap.
You look like the Gimp, right? You get like a ball in your mouth.
The Gimp didn't have a ball in his mouth. He
Oh,
just
that's
had
right.
the zipper.
The zipper.
Yeah,
that was all of it.
Yeah. Bring out the Gimp. All right, so let's move on. This is why I label it with adult content and all that. People go, what's going to happen on this show? I can't believe I went to your video, Geekdomo, and it says nudity, adult language, violence, and sexual innuendo.
flickering lights,
And flickering-
make hot seizures.
Oh, look, Orms just subscribed. Thank you, Orms. Woohoo. Thank you so much. You may now use any of the emoticons across the internets.
including
The purple dildo emoji. I mean,
I was going to say the Omid thing, but that's,
Yeah, you can do a mead. Let's see.
oh, Jesus.
There, you can use that one.
Yay.
All right. So let's move on. Next topic. Stretch goals. Dun, dun, dun. Oh. 39.6 lbs. Domo GIMP. That would be good, right?
GIMP.
That would be like a little Domo character with a zipper mouth on it.
I was going to say, is it just you with a GIMP mask on, or is it...
I could make it where... Yeah, I can make it look like me.
Could we not talk about the GIMP and stretch goals in the same part of the show?
Yeah. I don't know, it sort of fits.
This motion while I'm talking about that either. Just...
Oh, dear.
Hmm.
This makes me think of Ace Ventura.
Let me ask you a question.
Exactly
Asolemio. Oh, sodomia. All right. Stretch goals. Let's move on. So, what do we think is going to come up? Because basically, they're stopping stretch goals, or they keep saying they're going to stop stretch goals, but the stretch goals keep going and going and going. So, what's up, guys? What do you think?
I've said my opinion every single show for the past 6, so
Yes.
someone else can go now.
Core, what do you think now?
Damn it!
about-
I think they really need to fuck off.
Well, they kind of keep saying they're going to. They keep saying, "Okay, we're done, guys. We're just going to keep taking your money, but we're not going to put anything out." But then something happens, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what they want to achieve with it anymore. I mean, they're just using it as like weekly updates. I mean, it's the pointlessness of it has just gotten a little bit ridiculous.
It's almost as vapid as we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole reason why we're vapid is because the fucking stretch goals are fucking vapid. And
I don't think we can blame the stretch goals for our
yes, we can. We can.
we
Spin it.
can blame them. We just probably won't be correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that I'm curious to see what they're gonna do now, because they did mention in their 38 million letter from the chairman, Chris Roberts did mention that he's gonna do something different with the stretch goals going forward, which who knows what he means by that.
He does.
To help chart the course for the future of Star Citizen in a different way, and we don't really know what that means. What do you guys think? What do you guys think that means?
Well, I know what I hope it means.
What's that, Trendane?
Well, what we've been talking about, like Core and everybody been talking about before. Make the stretch goals fewer and farther between, but make them bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So not just a star system, but a new ship.
Or an entire batch of star systems all at one time, or whatever. Do an entire stellar cluster as one stretch goal.
Story bricks.
I mean, stop making it obvious that more money doesn't actually include more content. That's basically what it is.
It could be a voting system where people put money towards different things, different processes, and see like, hey, which module should we bring out next? And they have like a competition with which module can raise the most money. And that module will be the one that gets the most attention. I mean, that money will go towards, actually building it out and hiring the people to work on that module and things like that. That could be an idea. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's for a long time, it hasn't felt like that's what they're like. That might be what they're doing with the money, but the stretch goals, don't indicate where the money's going anyway. So it's more or less like the stretch goals are just a way for them to go, look, you give us money, we give you shiny, even though you were already going to get shiny, but now it makes it seem like you got it because of the stretch goal.
Yeah, I think they realize that, and that's why the whole 40 million stretch goal is going to be something totally different. Hopefully it's something completely different, which we don't know.
How about the dog
But
fighting
it's
module?
not. That's the problem. The 40 mil's not a different goal. It's another system goal. It's the twin systems. They're bringing out two systems instead of one.
I thought that was the 39.
No. The 39 is the unnamed system. Oh. It's the one that's out there to be discovered. but the 40 million is they're bringing out two separate systems simultaneously. So once again, they're saying, "Oh no, we're not going to make another star system. So it's all right. We'll be something different." Next stretch goal, it's something different.
41.
It's
well,
two stars.
Regardless, they're talking about the 41 then, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter whether it's the 41 or the 61. They'll probably just say, "Well, at 41, we'll give you dogfighting," and it's just like, yeah, but you were going to give that to us in a month anyway. No, you paid for it now. I'm like, get out of here.
Don't you think this is sort of a problem with the entire crowdfunding module? Because we're all so vested in it, and not just our time. Like with EverQuest Next, I'm invested in it because I've made videos for it and everything. But mainly, I can play it now for about $100, right, or $50, whatever.
Yeah.
Nice.
But where this one, you're thousands of dollars into it. You sort of feel like you're a developer, or at least you have some sort of, vested time. And, you're invested in it. So everyone feels like they need to kind of push them, and every time they have to push things back, it's sort of like feels like it's letting us down. But it's just part of the development process anyway. So we're all sort of like this is sort of a unique situation because nothing's ever been done this big before with crowdfunding. And as we go on, everyone just keeps wanting to throw more money at it because they want to see the game come out sooner. I mean, when they try to do something good, which is like the next great Starship, which is a fantastic idea, everyone gets mad because it looks too nice. They want to play. They want to play. They don't want to see that crap. They want to play, even though ultimately the people that are on the panel aren't really directly involved with development necessarily. Like the guys back at the thing are doing all the number crunching.
Like we were talking about earlier, it was just a day, and they didn't. It's not like they spent a ton of money on that. They have a full-time video editing guy who probably put it together.
I could put that together by myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it was anything crazy. I think you're exactly right. People are they're just kind of frustrated because they want to play the dogfighting module, and it getting delayed. We totally understand, right? And a lot of people were like, "Yeah, just take your time and do it right." But at the same time, I think if you've invested like $1,000 into the game, into ships, and it's not like you have a ton of money, right? We were talking about this several podcasts ago, where the average we're talking about the average income of a Star Citizen investor is not that high, and yet the average pledge is like over $100. That's a pretty that's a pretty significant investment for you, and I think that even if you don't want to just think like that, you kind of do anyway. Subconsciously, you start to just get kind of antsy about it and being like, I put a lot of money into this, and I want to see it come out.
I think though the mentality comes a little bit more from the fact that since the only thing that we're really looking forward to is dogfighting module, it's about the perception, right? If they were to just close the doors and close the windows and shut the blinds and pretend like the only thing they're spending their time on is dogfighting module, there would be less complaints.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
but it's because of the perception that they're like, oh, they're doing this and they're doing that and they're prancing around over there. That's what people can get upset about, because it's just like, well, if you've got time to do that, spend that extra hour making more dogfighting stuff.
Yeah.
And really, it is pretty much their fault, because they haven't come out and really clarified it. This needed to be like a letter or a video in and of itself, where because they've said on several occasions the reason that they're delaying the dogfighting module is because of the backend, like the network backend. They want to do it right. They want to actually build. They don't want to do a dogfighting alpha that's purely in CryEngine. They want to actually build out their network backend properly and make sure the dogfighting module actually sort of fits within what will eventually become the persistent universe, which I think is great. And I think most people understand that's really important, that they do it right the first time. That way they don't have sort of this useless vestige sitting around that its only purpose is for game balance, and it doesn't actually fit within the universe itself. I think people understand that's important. I think that needs to be spelled out more. I think they need to actually take some time and sit down and be like, this is what we're working on, this is the back end. And it's not particularly exciting, I think people will, I guess, I don't want to say shut up about it, but they won't complain as much about it if they just really sat down and be like, hey, this is what we're doing.
It would be really easy if most of the people, if everyone that had funded or crowdfunded / backed the program knew how the internal structure of product management worked, because then they could release product management calendars, and it would be fine, because most people that work in product management know that those calendars get changed on the fly a lot. A lot of them get pushed back, prioritized, reshuffled, but at least every day there's a new calendar sort of what the developers can expect to do. And because of that, if we would just, if we had a structure like that and everyone was aware that that is an ongoing and changing process, I mean, for a lot of people it would offer more insight, but since the case is that a lot of people aren't aware of the process, that just causes a lot more clutter now.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Software development in general is actually just a really difficult and taxing process on people. Software development and game development in general, and in specifics rather, is incredibly taxing, because deadlines are a lot heavier in that situation. And especially now, I know for a fact that the guys at CIG are working ridiculously hard on making sure the dogfighting module is fit for purpose, and that the network backend is ready to handle the huge flood of players that are going to come in. But I think that the next great Starship stuff is fantastic, but the reason people are getting frustrated is because it's a little off message. People really want to hear about the game, and I think if they did the next great Starship and they featured just as prominently the stuff that they were doing, on the back end and the kinds of work that was being done, if they featured that just as prominently, even though it's not really that exciting and it's not really, I mean, I find it interesting, but a lot of people probably wouldn't find it all that interesting.
It would show progression. It would say that this is happening. And okay, this week we figured out a way to make it to where the ships don't turn as sharp now, guys, and see how much smoother it is. Just a simple little video like that on a daily or weekly basis would probably help to smooth over some of the disgruntledness. Yeah, just go around and have people talk about what they're working on, or what I thought was a fantastic idea. What Project Eternity, now Pillars of Eternity, used to do is that every update, they'd have one of their dudes, one of their developers, write an email, and sometimes it'd be a systems designer or a concept artist or somebody. They'd just write an email saying, "This is what I've been working on, for the past week or month or whatever." And they'd send that email out to everybody. And so if you had a graphics guy or a server guy or anything, just like write an email every week, just being like, "Hey, this is what I've been working on," and that really satisfies people, because it's like, hey, they're actually getting a lot of work done.
What they could do in the last Wingman's Hangar, they were talking a lot about the fact that they're using Jira, which was what we used at EA. They could take a high-level snapshot of Jira, nothing showing any of the details of what they're working on, but just, this is what we completed this week.
Can you pause for a second? Can you explain what Jira is, just for the people who didn't know?
Jira is a kind of a project management tracking software. It's sort of like
Citrix?
Maybe a little bit more like Microsoft Project, where you take a given project and you break it down into individual elements. Birthday party. Okay, I've got to get the cake. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. Got to do this. In order to make this happen, I need to do this and this and this. In order to make this happen, I got to do this, this, and this.
So it gives you a flow sheet to follow.
Exactly. It becomes a flow chart, and it's a living document. When some emergency pops up, you can say, "Wait, I've got to do this," and it reprioritizes everything according to a weighting system, point system that you've given everything a specific value on what its priority is. And when something pops up, you say, "Wait, we need to do this first. This is really important." It adjusts everything.
Okay, so we can't go to next step because this one thing's jammed up, and you have to get that first. Okay,
exactly.
And if we had and like I said, it doesn't have to be, we have to do this, the tiny little details. Just a high level thing of, this is where things currently stand, and we can see what the progression is. That far more so than, I mean, and then save something like the next great Starship for after we've got the dogfighting module in hand and we're just going along with it. We're like, okay, cool, bam, bam, you're dead. What's that next gun? That's kind of cool. You know, and just keep going. And it makes everything much, that would be better, I think.
Yeah, the transparency and agile project development, which is currently also being discussed in the chat. You know, it offers a lot of great insight. I mean, I work with it daily. Every time I get to work, I get pulled into meetings and host my own meetings to make sure that everything gets done. And half the time, the only problem with the calendars is that they change so much because of based on priorities. Exactly what Trendane just said, and because of that, it's a living, breathing process. And this is the only issue why you might not want to tell outsiders the whole process straight away. Because one day you're saying, all right, we need to get this, and this done, and if everything goes well, we've got this, and this done, and we're ready to ship. But one tiny thing pops up, the whole system gets thrown out of whack, and the next morning we're all working on a completely different project to make sure that whatever we did yesterday at least sort of works. And
so that's interesting.
Yeah.
SimCity launch.
Excuse me, sorry.
Oh, God, how dare you swear upon this
Yes.
with such blaspheme.
You may never say the two vowels E and A together.
It's funny that we talk about this things getting moved around and stuff. They didn't really document it so well as much as the move from to Austin, their new premise. But they moved in and they were like, oh, look, this is us shoveling boxes in. Look at this, we're moving in. This is great. Mm-hmm. They didn't tell us that they didn't have the full bandwidth internet for almost 3 weeks after they moved into that building. There was a very small, tiny snippet, and I managed to catch it, and I sort of did a double take. I was watching just one of their little fancy, oh, this is what we're doing. Oh, look, I've got a bar fridge in my office. But they managed to mention something about Time Warner Cable. I think you guys have over there.
I have it. Yeah, that's who we have.
Yep.
And it's terrible.
And that's what they're getting, apparently. And someone, I can't remember who it was, it might have even been Chris himself, let slip that when it was 2.5 weeks into their new premise and they still didn't have the fiber connected yet to their premise. Well, now, I have no idea what sort of impact that has on a huge, multi-national server network, but I'm sure it's going to have some sort of impact.
Yeah. And the good thing is that they should be getting Google Fiber sometime this year, which they could almost host the entire game from their own office because Google Fiber is an asynchronous 1,000 up and 1,000 down. So it's pretty impressive. And it only is coming to Austin, so it might be a good place for them to do their data. At least for some of the servers.
I think that the thing about software development is that the intranet is actually a lot more important than your connection to the internet. So I think that the stuff that they do across multinational boundaries, each little group is working on their own project. They probably don't share a ton of data across the actual internet. Usually what companies do is they use FedEx. Right. They use FedEx. If they need to shift a few terabytes of data here and there, they're not going to send that over Dropbox or something because it's not feasible. I mean, the bandwidth of FedEx is still much larger than the bandwidth of the internet, so it's much faster. Just if it's like I need 2 terabytes of data tomorrow, it's like it's going to take it's going to take me a day and a half to download it, so it's better just to send it, over.
Here, move this drive to Shanghai.
That's it. True.
So,
and, in day-to-day operations, you're never really going to have the developer in one location require specific work from the developer in another location right away until it's actually finished and done. Because if there's still a bug in it and you're like, oh, it's all, here you go. And then the new developer gets in and is like, wait, this is unusable. It sends it back, and then it becomes this whole process. So usually what they wait is until they get a stable version of it, and that you won't usually see during the day operation. So it's like an end of the day or an end of the week type deal.
Sorry about the echo,
cool,
everybody.
thanks.
No,
Bye, everybody.
sorry. I just the reason you're hearing an echo is I don't have my headphones. My son was borrowing them, and I just had to go ask my wife if we can bring them down. So I'm just gonna keep my mic down. You guys talk amongst yourselves, and then I'll turn it back up when I get my headphones.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess my main concern about them not having internet so like 3 weeks after moving into their new digs was, I'm thinking if that's one thing, and you would think building a big business like that, even if they're not using the internet to move parts of the game around, still a proper internet connection is pretty essential to a major business, no matter what. And I'm thinking, well, if that's something that they've overlooked or that they haven't got organized already, I'm thinking, well, what else is going on behind the scenes that we don't know about? You know, it sort of threw a bit of doubt in my mind, going, well, hang on, I would have thought an internet connection would be a pretty important thing to get organized before I moved into a new building.
Well,
but
it's one of the problems with moving is that you move, and then you don't know if they're going to be there on that day. They say, we'll be there between Monday at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., and then something happens, and they don't show up, and then that pushes you back 2 weeks, of all things.
Yeah, and moving businesses it's a totally huge process. It's a totally different animal, especially when if you have to sort of repurpose the premises, that's the worst part. Especially in IT companies, for the most part, they have to do that. Especially software development houses, they have to repurpose premises. They can't actually just use it how it is. It's like, okay, well, we've got to run,
X amount of cable.
Right, we have to run like 2 kilometers of cables around this damn office to make this even like basically functional.
And remember, they were talking before they moved that they had still several pieces of negotiation to go through with the building superintendent where they were moving to. So there was stuff that wasn't even finalized when they were getting ready to move.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So a lot of that plays into it as well.
Right. I mean, they needed
drugs.
They definitely needed to get out of that basement office as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully their workload didn't actually suffer all that much because their internet was, slow or mediocre for a little while. But yeah, in the end, it's not going to matter.
The tour. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, a month onto the end of, the dogfighting module already is not going to make that much of an impact come 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So
it won't matter. Yeah, we're all talking about it now because it's
Trendane.
so right there in the news. But
it's not like they started the dogfighting module like a month ago when they were about to move. So they probably all had their own projects and stuff, or at least lines of codes to finish before before truly needing all the connections and stuff.
Yeah, it was just bad timing, but they had to move, so it's good that that's out of the way, and now we move forward.
Gellamir is just saying that one hiccup casting doubt on the whole process is a little extreme. It's not the whole process. It's just it makes me think twice. It just makes me think, well, that's a very big thing to not necessarily overlook. Now that I think about it, you're right. There are companies, the broadband company might have just been overloaded and may not be able to help them out for the next 3 weeks. So, I just thought, well, hang on, wouldn't that have been something that they would have been upfront and open about? Say, sorry guys, we're out of net, so some things are going to be a bit slow. We're sorry about that. It's not our fault, but the network company's slacking off. So, but
it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, though.
Yeah, sometimes you've also got the issue that like the building manager will tell you one thing about the broadcasting things, and you're like, all right, we're all good to go, and they've got the deal ironed out, and then you go there and you realize they didn't do jack shit about it.
There's no internets.
Or the building guy took care of it, but the local telecom doesn't have a big enough trunk running to the building itself.
Exactly.
So they got to run new lines. You're screwed.
Yeah,
Could have
there's
been
nothing
that.
you can do about that.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well,
I stand corrected on my fear of them hiding things under the table.
no, it's okay. That's why we talk this stuff out.
But yeah, no, it's the concern about productivity suffering might be a valid one. So that one still stands.
Mm-hmm. All right. So hey, everybody, make sure you're sending in your questions. I think we've got about 13 of them. So keep sending some more in, and we'll get to them shortly. Actually,
13. We can actually close on time.
You think? No, we can only close on time if we have 4.
Let's not be crazy here, man.
Anything over 4 is just asking too much.
Agreed.
All right, so let's get
Talking
into
about questions, right?
Yeah, Q&A.
Just checking.
Well, what were you talking about?
No.
Don't want to go there.
It was.
Well, do I want to go there? Yes. But,
All right. Let's go ahead and go on with our next part of the show. Q&A time. Q&A time.
Q&A.
Welcome to Q&A.
All right, so
Got excited. I thought you said TNA.
No, not TNA time. No.
We can do that later.
It's a different one. Okay.
I'm not stripping again. I did that on the base. I'm not.
Oh, really? You stripped on the base?
Yeah.
A lot of people saw that, huh?
I didn't count.
A lot of people listen to it. I mean, that's
what I'm saying. Trendane has a face for radio.
I tell you.
Mm-hmm. I like your hair. What the hell is going here? What does that have to do with anything? Okay, first question.
Not just everything else.
Okay, this is great. I'm glad Bod, he's on the ball because somebody asked a question and we asked it from like last week and it didn't make it into the show, so here we go. I can't make it to the live stream, so I'll put the question here. Question 1. If people are able to use a PvP slider to determine who they meet, how will there be any risk to people carrying cargo and it will break immersion?
I think we've answered this question before. So the way the PvP slider works is that your cargo will still be at risk, but it really depends on what space you're in. So if you are in UEE space, your cargo is probably less at risk than it would be in lawless space. Mm-hmm. And in lawless space, the PvP slider basically doesn't mean anything because it doesn't matter if you have it set to I don't want to meet anybody. You know, the PvP slider is ratcheted all the way down. It doesn't matter. If you're in lawless space, you're still likely to run into people who are either pirates trying to steal your goods or other smugglers or things like that. If you are in lawful space, the PvP slider takes a lot more precedence, but there's still the potential that you meet somebody, and there's still a potential that your cargo is attacked by NPC pirates. If you're
at no point does it ever equal 0.
Right.
Yeah, but the most important detail is that it's the PvP slider, not a PvE slider. The odds of you are 95% higher that you get attacked by NPC pirates than you get attacked by the 5% of the players that are out there.
Right.
Yeah. I agree.
Right. Next question. Will the prices of some ships being expensive, how hard do you think it will be to obtain them in the finished game?
As far as Chris has said, a constellation will take a month.
Okay, that sounds fair. I mean, it's
That
a pretty
sounds fair.
heavy-duty ship.
Is that a month of regular, just casual play?
I would say a month of just like you would go to work for a month. You know, kind of like 8 hours, 40 hours weeks, that kind of deal. But at the same time,
That's a lot of play.
at the same
That's a
time,
grind.
at the same time, to keep it casual, they'll probably cut that by about a fourth and just say, 2 hours a day is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, like maybe 10 hours a week or so.
Yeah, we won't know. And then the Idris will take months and months, maybe years.
And
Do we
maybe
get
if
double time on
you're
holidays?
actually if you're part of a huge mining corporation, or or something's in demand, or you know how to play the market, that could be faster.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going off like the month that was supposed to be estimated for the constellation, then an Idris would be 4 months. It's just or 5 months depending on which one variant you got. But it's just how much time you want to spend. So if you can spend the 40 hours a week rather than the 10, then you would still get it in a month.
Mm-hmm. And then official Grim Panda says, piracy notwithstanding, I mean, if you're a good pirate, you can steal whatever ship you want.
Yep.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
And
then
one
of
says
course
that you can pool money together with your friends and just buy one in like a week.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that's one person grinding for 40 hours in a month. Not to say that you get 6 guys together that play 3 or 4 hours a day all together, and then go pull together and make your own organization, own a constellation or even an Idris to yourselves.
It'll be interesting to see how many Daisy-like aspects we'll have where people just join a very, very tiny clan with like 10 people. You know, they offer to be a crewman on their ship. They start flying. They instantly kill the pilot, take the constellation that they're flying, and boom, they now have a constellation day one.
Yeah.
They didn't even have to spend any time trying or any effort. All they had to do was buy a laser pistol.
That's brilliant.
know,
Why,
yeah.
why did I think of that?
That's a brilliant thing.
Again, it's like the Daisy, Rust, survival instinct type deal added onto Star Citizen.
That then poses a whole new question. Would you have to be classed as a friend to be on the crew of that ship, therefore no friendly fire, or could just hell for leather?
You joined his clan, right?
They want that kind
you
of
joined
stuff.
his group. He lets you
Yeah.
on board. You shoot him in the back of the head. Whether you have to drop tags or not, you know, that's a question. But you shoot him in the back of the head and take his ship. Done.
Oh no, legitimate
beings.
strategy.
Yeah, human beings don't have any IFF, so
Yeah.
you can just walk up and just it's like he lets you on the ship. You can kill him and take it. And they've said it many times that they want that kind of thing to happen. They want that kind of
How dare they?
Han
You know,
shoot first.
backstabbing experience.
Yeah.
No,
to
And
go on.
that. Yeah.
Even in
I mean-
Eve, if you're in the same corporation, you can still blow the hell out of somebody, take this shit, and then drop corp and leave.
yeah,
Well,
you can.
Nice. That's an interesting take on that, Core.
I've
right.
been thinking about it for a while, but I didn't want to.
Well, yeah, because we all play a lot of DayZ, you know, and DayZ is all about shooting your friends or
hey, there are
strangers.
no pirates in Imperium. Thank you very much.
For sure, but then again, it doesn't mean I trust everyone. I mean,
Oh, no,
I'm not going to let every asshole on my ship.
Oh,
I'm
no,
just
no,
saying.
You don't let me on your ship, Core.
That gives you every reason for concern that any old Harry could just, hump you in the back of the head.
I
Yeah.
would love to.
Oh, for
have
sure.
an
I feel certain that on my first day of playing, I will have to shoot 4 of my friends just to make sure that the others toe the line. You know.
You're looking at me crooked there, pal.
This is reminding me a lot of a line from The Empire Strikes Back. I don't trust Lando. Well, I don't trust him either. He is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
It'll be kind of like the whole, I have 10 friends, I shoot 4, the other 6 are like, great, that's the attitude I want.
See, Squirrel owns an Idris too. Yeah, I'd watch my back for these big capital ships or sort of semi-capital ship. If you got one of those, you're probably gonna watch your ass.
If you've got LTI, what's the worry, right?
Yeah, you just get back.
Now the
Nice.
next question is: with instances, will you ever be able to have a clan battle? What is he asking? Like within your own faction or what?
No, I
Organization?
think he's asking about clan battles against other clans.
Isn't that the
I
point?
don't know if we can fully answer that. I mean,
no,
it's
Well-
going to depend on how it is. I mean, if we have 4 different clans in the same area, is it going to split it into 2 different clans fighting each other, or is it just going to throw 4 different groups into the same space?
Right.
We don't know.
Is there war? I mean, how does war declaration work? Do you need to declare war on another organization? You know, because we know we can form alliances and contracts. Does that work in reverse? A lot of this stuff is still up in the air. Not a lot
I
of
mean, that's not to say if you're in the Imperium and you call out the goons and say, meet us in this system, we're going to, we're going to have it
Bitch,
out.
we gonna throw down.
Yeah.
That's
You got
like an
served.
easy example. I mean, what's not an easy example is the UEE's there, and they got a problem with Group A, but they're not allied with Imperium, and we technically have beef with Group B, but the UEE sort of likes Group B, but is not allied with them. What happens if 4 of those different tag ships are in the same space? And one of them decides to shoot the other. Do they all go into the same instance, or just the 2 that were engaged in the combat?
Anarchy.
It's
Pure
real.
anarchy. Yeah. Shit gets real.
that would be madness.
It's like a bag of cats in a dryer.
Oh, hell yes. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
All right.
again,
Oh.
SgtStakas does not speak for the entirety of Imperium.
Well,
so
either do you, Core.
Hey, I don't even speak for Imperium, so I was just
Neither
using
do I.
those 2 because they're big
And scary.
Two really big
Well, I
organizations.
think LAMP is currently bigger, but that's just going off the organization chart. That's not
No, you're right.
assuming anything from any forums anywhere.
I was just using them as examples because they're asking, can you have a clan battle? Well, yes, you could.
Technically,
if you wanted to. If you wanted to. If you just wanted to be a bunch of asses and say, yeah, we don't like you, we're calling you out, we're going to come and shoot you down. Why not?
Duty head. Next question from Lion Viking. Where can I find a pink background?
I got one here.
That's
it's
not
purple,
pink.
actually.
It's actually purple, yeah. Maybe he's colorblind.
Yeah.
So a pink one.
What?
Purple colorblind? Really?
Yeah, it's sort of a blue-green shift.
What a more appropriate call would have been the 70s call. It wants its background back, but no.
Oh well. Yeah, dance off is confirmed. All right. So this is from CCCCC Corp. Question: if you guys have seen the updated model pictures of the Hornets in the RSI Pledge store, what do you think of the changes and the way they might be taking this in the future? I have to look at them now. I didn't actually see the ones in the store. Anybody else seen it? Because
I didn't.
I don't know.
I didn't even realize they had updated it.
Me either.
Sorry.
Well, all right. So
I'm sorry. I haven't looked in the pledge store since I've already got everything.
Right. Exactly. What do you have to look for?
So what's supposed to be new about it?
Are these new pictures?
Things with stuff.
I'm looking at new pictures.
They look like the old pictures to me.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
might be
saying.
wrong.
Going to the store, looking at the Hornet. Is he trolling us? Because I don't see anything new.
No. It looks slightly different. If you go to the ship
The lighting
stat
feels
page,
different. Are these the PBR
Yeah.
Hornets?
It might be. That might be all
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe they're the PBR ones.
What does PBR stand for again?
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Physically based
That's
rendering.
that's what I keep thinking.
Right. No, it is a physical based rendering. Go on and talk about it there,
Thank you.
Harris, because you got called out for saying it wrong the last time. So I'll
I
let
did.
you.
I don't have that textbook.
Okay.
I don't have that textbook open right now, so I can't read off what.
Basically, if
physically
you
based
want to
rendering is.
see what
It is a
PBR looks
certain
like,
way of rendering the ships.
yeah, go
Right,
check
it's
out Rise. If you check out Rise, it has PBR in it. The way the armor looks on
it
that
looks
guy.
shinier. It's nicer. I really don't want to get into details.
Okay, let's not go into that again.
No.
All I wanted to know was what it stood for. That's all. I don't
Okay.
care what it is. I just wanted to know what it stood for because
Yeah.
every time I think Pabst Blue Ribbon, and that I know that's not right, and it's gross. So
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Over
Oh,
here,
I
that's
see.
hipster beer.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I apologize, the chat is going to be messed up a little bit because I'm looking at this. Oh yeah, that's definitely PBR.
Yeah, that's all it looks like, though.
Looks really good, actually.
Oh, looks more
Yeah,
detailed.
it does look a lot
Yeah.
better.
It looks a lot more crisp and less, less
cartoony.
vague. Yeah.
It definitely has a lot of high definition to it. So
It's materials. The materials are a lot clearer. Like the differentiation of materials on the ship
Mhm.
itself, it's a lot clearer.
It looks like it's actually painted now rather than just, a material.
Mm.
But yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks, CC Corp, for sharing that. Okay. Next one is from Legendary Neurotoxin. Why is this not at least 25 paragraphs there, Reese?
Why is this a novel?
Yeah. I'm just picking on Reese. He writes a lot of stuff. Okay. What makes a ship good compared to another? And what would be needed to make new ships balanced compared to older ships of the same level? Now, I believe Reese is coming at this from a more of a newer perspective, so like tone down what your guys are saying and kind of come at it from like what a newer person would think. So, what makes
you're explaining it to me. There you go.
There you go. What makes a good ship compared to another, and what would be needed to make new ships balanced compared to older ships of the same level?
Ships. The thing is that it's difficult to say one ship is objectively better than another ship because pretty much all ships are niches. Like
It's called asymmetrical balancing, rock, paper, scissors.
Right.
Lizard
Exactly.
Spock.
So, it's rock, paper, scissors, with a bunch of other stuff.
Lizard Spock.
Right. So, you have your even amongst like the Hornet, you have all these different variants, right? You have the stealth variant, you have a recon variant, you have a combat variant, you have the civilian model and the military model, and there's I think all of the ships aren't necessarily, they're not balanced precisely in that manner, right? Because if you have a ship that has objectively more firepower than another ship, like if you had a recon Hornet, right, and you're taking on an Idris with a complement of fighters, right, you're not going to win.
Right.
That's just the way it is, because the Idris, even without the fighters, it'll just knock you out. You're not equipped to deal with that. But then again, you aren't necessarily in a recon Hornet. You're not necessarily, looking to engage in a dogfight, right? You might just be scouting or providing information, targeting information for a larger capital ship somewhere else, right? The gameplay is not. It's not like a twitch shooter or a typical FPS or anything along those lines. It's more, I guess, it's not even like class-based multiplayer. It's more like role-based, I guess. It's what you would find on an actual battlefield, right? I mean,
with the ability to customize your own ships. It is very, very unlikely that two ships will be exactly the same whenever they're facing off with each other, especially if they have any knowledge of who they're facing off against, because they might pick a counter to what you have. In the situation of having two identical planes fighting each other, then that's the only way that you could discern that it comes down to skill. If they have the same internet connection, they have the same, then you've got balance. But the thing about gaming is nobody actually likes true balance, because true balance is boring. True balance comes down to, which one of the two is faster, which one of the two did not glance over his shoulder to see if his beer was getting cold or whatever. The thing about asymmetrical balancing is to make sure that it always is entertaining and fun, and whilst someone might be in the same ship with a better loadout than you, and you might be ill-equipped to deal with him, the next ship you run into, it might be slightly more expensive than yours, but you've got the torpedoes to take him out in seconds. So because of asymmetrical balancing, it's not like you'll ever be imbalanced, the game will ever be imbalanced in the sense that you don't have the ability to fight back, but it'll be more like what opportunities and what kind of situations you have the advantage in.
You want an imbalanced game.
Yes.
And you want to be able to rotate, just like in World of Warcraft. It's the flavor of the month. Whatever is the best ship, somebody's going to figure out a way to beat it. And so what ends up happening is that whatever it is that say the best ship is a certain Hornet variant, and the best way to beat it is to use an Idris or whatever. And then, not Idris. Let's go with maybe Constellation with a particular type of gun system can take out this Hornet. Then what ends up happening is everyone's going to start taking and flying the Connies to take out, because now that they're trying to beat, and then that becomes the flavor of the month. And it's just this rotating system. You were trying to say something, Trendane, I think?
The only thing I was going to say is if you want a balanced game, go play Solitaire.
Yeah, that'll work.
Or chess. Minesweeper.
Or chess, or Minesweeper.
Chess will do. As long as you keep playing, eventually someone will fall over and die.
Okay, so I guess that's good there. That was a good synopsis. All right, so another question from Bryonic. Byron YK.
Byron EK.
Byron EK. Connie versus Tally in a 1-versus-1 duel. Speed, agility versus guns. Who would win? Theory crafting.
Retaliator.
Go.
Retaliator.
Connie wins.
I don't think so.
Connie has the speed and the agility. I mean, if we're looking at the two ships like individually, the Retaliator would be perfectly equipped to take out an Idris, but less equipped to deal with something that is more like a fighter type deal, which is exactly what the Constellation is, an oversized fighter.
I think that there's a possibility that the Retaliator, it depends on the way it's equipped, but I feel like if the Retaliator is equipped for ship-to-ship combat, right, and it has anti-fighter stuff as well as some heavy weaponry, it could probably take out a Connie.
But the question is the anti-fighter stuff going to punch through the shields or even the armor of the Constellation? Because it is freighter-type armor / shielding, and it has a higher power plant, which kind of makes all these, anti-fighter abilities that the Retaliator could have with its shitty little turrets ineffective.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that the Connie would have trouble. I still think Connie would have a lot of trouble getting close to a Retaliator. Like, I feel like if they were in a one-on-one fight, most Connies would not be properly equipped to actually be able to kill a Retaliator.
But then the question is, does the Retaliator come with specifically anti-freighter type missiles for the bomber statement, or do they come with anti-capital ship
probably
missiles?
not. They probably come with anti-capital ship stuff, right? I mean, I think the Caterpillar probably comes with anti-fighter stuff. Now that's an interesting question, right? A Caterpillar would probably definitely be the Connie one-on-one.
That's a question again, because you're looking at the specs of the Constellation, and all the Constellation really is an oversized fighter. I mean, it's fast, it's agile, it's lean, and it's mean. And the Caterpillar kind of more seems like a drop ship than a real. But again, depending on how modular it is.
Yeah, who can tell? Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like there are ways you could easily kit out a Retaliator. It has enough punch with its hard points that if you wanted to make it an anti-fighter bomber, like a gunship kind of deal, you could mod that on there.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, but when you're hunting for a specific type of ship, you're always going to be perfect against that specific type of ship. And if you set up your Connie to have heavy neutron blasters, and you set it up to be super agile, and you avoid everything, just park it right next to the Retaliator and go one shot and just tear the entire hull open. Yeah, if you're built like that, then that's what you're going to be good at.
Okay.
So there's no answer to this
there's no answer.
question.
And that's what Sepify just says. Who knows? Buy both. There you go.
Yeah.
It's problem solved. Okay. Moving on to our next question. This one is from Lion Viking. New stretch goal. Is it new tech? Is it a new platform for the game, Linux? Or is it something they were R&Ding like atmospheric flight or procedural stuff?
Great question.
Good
Next
question.
question.
Yeah.
We don't know. We kind of already beat that horse a little
Yeah,
bit.
we already talked about
Yep.
this. We have absolutely no idea. It could be all of those things
Could be
and
all
none
of
of
them at
them.
once.
Could be none of them.
Or
I
it
would
could
like
just
to
be an extra episode of the next great Starship. We don't know.
I would really like
It could
to
be a
see
new shirt.
yeah, a new gold limit.
$41 million stretch goal, a new shirt from us.
Yeah, Mark buys a new shirt at the thrift store.
Yes.
He's gonna pop some tags.
I still think he should be sitting there with his hookah next to him.
It would probably fit a little better.
That would make the best episode ever.
He should blow smoke into the faces of people he disagrees with.
I hate your idea.
Your idea is stupid, and I mock you, sir.
I reserve the right to disagree.
This question here is from Phineas and Ferb. What role should someone with an Aurora LN and a 325A play? Why did he put them both in the same sentence? They're starter ships, but...
I think maybe he has both of those ships.
and he wants to know who should
The
be
Aurora
credited.
LN. The Aurora LN seems like a tiny starter ship dogfighter, really. I mean, it might have the capabilities of doing that, especially because it has more guns. The 325A is supposed to be an interdictor, which is, again, a sort of dogfighter.
Of sorts. It's a dogfighter for a specific situation.
It's a dogfighter basically to slow whoever you're fighting down and keep them occupied while the rest of your buddies catch up.
So it's tackle.
Deliver the firepower.
Yes. Yeah, that's why they call it an interdictor. But if you see the Hornet video, it gets taken out in like 2 seconds.
Right. Didn't have much
but yeah,
interdicting.
It seems like the two ships that you chose there are the dogfighting versions of what you wanted. So that's what you're looking for.
However, it's so small it would seem to be evading their turbo laser. So as long as you shoot a photon torpedo down the thermal exhaust port right below the main port, you should have no problem blowing up that moon-sized space station.
It's a trap.
That's right. It's
It is a
a
trap.
tarp.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a tarp, too. All right.
Yeah.
Good. Next one is from Malefic. Of the ships that don't currently have variants, what variants do you expect to see special focus on the Connie? Question mark.
Dear.
When it comes to the Constellation, I would love to see an even faster, more leaner, more agile dogfighting version of it. But because I have this sneaking suspicion that's what the current version already is, I think we might be disappointed by other Constellation variants.
Like a freighter Constellation?
Like a freighter Constellation variant.
Slower.
Or an
A
exploration.
hot tub Constellation variant.
Space yacht Constellation variant.
Hell yeah.
That's what the 690's for.
Yeah.
Space, yeah.
That's what that's why I would get a 690, but... Or an
Yeah,
890.
I mean, I kind
890.
of want an exploration variant for my Connie.
That's not a moon.
You know, it's funny that we have so much Star Wars talk tonight. I was just thinking about today. When I was a kid, I used to watch Empire Strikes Back every single day
Yeah, I love that movie of all of them.
for like 3 years until the tape broke.
Right.
It was wild.
Yeah.
See, that's telling. Until your
That's right.
tape broke.
Till the cassette itself snapped and you had to super glue it back and it's not working.
Yeah, you could fix it with regular Scotch
And
tape, believe it or not.
Get the little fuzzy bits every time you go over that bit.
Yeah.
No!
It'll be alright. Yeah, really looking forward to J.J. Abrams' lens flares and seeing what he does with the movie.
Oh God, please!
Oh, Jesus.
I'm a fucking
I'm
choker,
already
bitch.
not
I
looking
swear to
forward.
I mean,
God.
you already know that every single female role in there is just gonna be for the fucking boobs. Like, there's substance.
And?
No objections, but...
I don't know,
have
Carrie
objections.
Fisher. Yeah,
There you go. We've got
There
objections
you go.
right there.
Carrie Fisher is not necessarily packing these days like she used to.
Well, you know what they say, there's no bras in space.
I guess not. They went all the way to the future and they just decided to throw that right out the window.
That's all the way in the past.
Yeah,
Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
far away. It was a long,
Well,
long time ago.
they've developed bras now.
That's true. It was in the past. I keep thinking it was the future. Yeah, you're right. We just sort of forgot it. It was in our DNA somewhere. Okay, moving on. What do you think will happen when they run out of alpha slots?
They won't.
Won't.
We covered that like 5 episodes ago.
Well, not everybody watches our Tome of Vapidity, which is
that,
about 800,
that is not our fault.
800 hours of video they could watch.
They've already added 80,000 slots and a couple of 30,000 slots without telling. The 80,000 slots, they did say, though, they were just like, oh, for the November LTI, here you go, 80,000 slots. But
And
what they didn't say is that at the same time, they've injected, like, certain amounts to make sure the
Every
number...
couple of days they add 10,000
Yep,
more. You know,
they do.
They just keep...
It annoys me so much. When I pledged, there was
Yeah.
about 25,000 slots left. I thought, oh, good, no, there's not much. Then it got all the way down to about 15. Then all of a sudden it's back up above 20. What happened there?
And yet,
Like-
the number of backers hasn't gone down at all.
Right.
No, I'm like, what the?
Yalamir
How
says
did-
it's actually down to 9K right now. But in a week it'll be 20K again.
You wait.
Yeah.
You wait.
Oh,
It'll
and
get to
actually,
five.
you know, I don't know if
If
it
it
will
was-
be.
Why?
You know,
I mean,
maybe-
it's a perfect
Maybe this
marketing
time
play.
because they had an excuse last time they did it. It was the whole enhanced alpha stretch
But they
goal
can
thing,
always
where they
say-
added the oceanic servers and for launch and.
But that was a bullshit stretch goal, really.
well, yeah, but
Maybe
I
that's
mean,
the
they're not-
40,
that's the point.
42,000
that was their
42 million
excuse,
goals.
right?
That's the whole point. We were talking about stretch goals being absolutely pointless and bullshit. So they will either do it again or they'll just come out with dogfighting and say, "Hey, look, guys, because we want other people to enjoy dogfighting too. Here you go, 100 million alpha slots, yay!"
Yeah.
All the slots.
I think the reason I think they won't is because they're actually hitting their server capacity for alpha. They don't want to. They don't want to overload their servers too much on when they open up the dogfighting alpha. So they might actually. So what I think is going to happen, they will add more slots, but they're not going to do it until after the dogfighting alpha launches. Once they're like, because that would be really smart of them. They're going to get a ton of money out of it, right?
The whole
If it's like,
first week of dogfighting is just stress testing. That's all it is.
right.
I'm just looking at
And once the first videos, once the first videos start coming out and people are like, "Ooh, this looks so cool now. I want to pledge." They'll be like, "Hey, how's about 20,000 more slots? You can also get into this alpha."
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Traegar says it's not gone up. It's not been re-added to since it started being tracked. I can't believe that, because I could have sworn it was going down.
But I could see them doing that.
It has gone up, but it only went up once. It went up when they did the whole enhanced alpha thing. They made a big deal out of that. So
was
outside
that
of that, I don't think it is
80,000
actually.
slots, or was that less? That particular one that you're talking
That was
about,
the 80,000. That was. I think that was the 80,000.
I'm looking
Okay.
here. I'm trying to see where the alphas.
Because it's gone up since then.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Because last time, when they added the 80,000, and they said they had 92,000 left, at the time they only had 260,000 backers. I think we're on, what, close to 400k backers now?
389, I think.
389, there you go.
That's crazy. That's $1,000 per person. Right?
100.
Yeah,
No,
$100,000 per person.
No, I'm thinking... No. To get to 38 million?
Yeah, that's $1,000 per person, sorry.
Yeah, $1,000 per person.
He's thinking in Aussie dollars or something, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Worthless money.
Speaking of which,
Maybe-
they haven't
Jeez.
artificially inflated the price for this game for you guys, which is nice.
yeah, but they don't need to.
No, you're right. They haven't, which is cool. It's
Oh,
So what you're saying is I should buy Aussie dollars and then buy the game.
maybe. Use Dogecoin. All right. Moving on. Question from Smowens. Will players be able to crew Will players be able to crew capital ships?
Yes.
crew, yes.
They're coming out with information in the next few weeks. I think Chris Roberts mentioned on the last 10 for the chairman that they're going to show us what they've been working on for the capital ship systems. There was a stretch goal to enhance them, and that was met. So we're going to see some really cool stuff with capital ship systems and asymmetrical gameplay within capital ships. So
Nice.
And if the reason why you're asking this particular question is because you're worried about like the 700-ish people required to man a Bengal, 95% of them are AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you have a NPC crewman for the most part.
Yep. The question, official Grim Panda, was will players be able to crew capital ships? All right. Next question, Core. This is for you. Are you using Scrum?
No, we are not using Scrum.
What is Scrum, by the way?
Scrum is another agile
Element of it.
product management.
It sounds bad. It sounds like something. I thought he was trolling you. I was
Rugby.
like,
It's
Rugby.
yeah,
I was going to
rugby
say, you played football.
But no, we do not use Scrum. We have one of our developers took it upon himself a long, long time ago. I think it was about 5 years ago. He decided, I'm just going to rewrite the whole thing, and I'm just going to write our own CRM for it, and integrated that into our dev management solution. So we have a really, really great system that I literally can change and add to on the fly, which I love. But yeah.
700 Imperium crew dispatching. Hey, Pac-Man. All right. This is from Paradox Moose. Why do hot dogs come in packages of 6 while hot dog buns come in packages of 8? Why do you drive on a parkway and park on a driveway? These are all questions for the universe that I don't believe we can answer today.
It's because
It's a
when you
racket.
buy a pack of buns, the 2 on the ends are always stale.
That's a good point. Or they could be, messed up.
Or, it's so that you always have to buy more sausages, and then you have too many sausages, and then you need to buy more buns.
No, that is not. Just,
The racket.
besides, it's also for in case you live with somebody like me who sneaks into the kitchen in the middle of the night just because he desperately needs.
A hot dog?
A
Thank you.
sausage.
Well, no.
Hair buns.
No. Those are available all over the place. I was going to say I was beating those things off with a stick, but that's what you do with a wiener. So
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. So I'm not going to say that. But no, just sneaking in, I just need it. So I just grab, a Frankenfurter and just, eat that. Then everybody comes in. They're like, "Hey, what the hell's going on? There's exactly as many, wieners as there are buns now. What is wrong with this universe?" And I'm like, "I'm just trying to help, man. What the hell?" And
what's going on?
Galamir has it right. If you carry the math out far enough, it will line up.
Of course.
Yeah, so always have barbecues. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Hundreds. Okay, moving on. We took a lot of time with that one.
Yeah, well.
Question from Squirrel. When do you think Chris and Sandy will announce they're really married?
When it's relevant?
Yeah.
Meaning never?
I think she'd have to be wearing a different flag for that one, but, whatever.
She's flagged? Like she's PvP flagged?
No. She actually wore a flag. As in, she grabbed a flag from the UEE,
right?
Wrapped it around herself, and wore it.
That's all she was wearing?
We don't know. We believe not.
I am lost.
I've heard from researchers and explorers in that field, and they have come to the conclusion that using Photoshop and X-raying devices, she was wearing more.
Oh well, we can only dream.
Well, you can dream.
Yeah, I don't know, Trendane. I don't know.
I do.
Okay.
If you want, we can grab Chris and we can get the experts in here for you.
No, we've tried grabbing Chris. He's busy, and
he's busy.
Yeah.
Chris really isn't my type anyway.
All right, fine. Just trying to do you
you're more into the Mark type, aren't you?
No.
You don't like gold lame?
No.
Turn off.
No. There was a T-shirt at the Pride Parade in San Francisco many years ago that said "All the glitters is not gold lame," and I was like, "Preach it, sister. That's right. Preach it." There was another one right next to it that said, "It's been really fun, but I have to scream now." And I was like, "Yeah, oh my god, I want that so bad," and I didn't buy it. That's right. Next question. Let's move on.
Moving on. Okay. Digital Architect asks, once the full game is released, how frequently do you think new ships and variations will come out? That's a good question.
Well, at that point, we'll have user-generated content as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think they said that they'll be updating the game on a weekly basis in terms of just straight-up content. Like what's been going on in the universe, they'll update the universe to reflect what the stuff that's been happening. And they'll also, so those will be housekeeping updates they'll probably do every week. And then probably from month to month, I'd say that, considering how much time it takes and investment it takes to actually model a ship out and make it, it'll be easier at that point because now they're using PBR, so it should be faster to actually make a ship. But, I think that it probably takes at least 2 months to make a new ship. Who knows?
Who knows?
And they might not even, come out big with ship designs and stuff like that. I mean, they might just sort of seed that in, and that you find it out, and that you have to kind of, familiarize yourself with it. And that it's a big deal in game.
That's a new ship. Oh my god, let's check it out.
But in regards to that, I just want a game first, and then, if the game doesn't suck, then I'll want more content. But one step at a time for me. That's just what I'm saying.
Yeah, don't forget, it's all about the jibs.
The
gibs. The gibs.
They did say that to buy a ship from a particular company, you'd have to go to their system where their showroom is actually located. So if you want, let's say, a MISC ship, you're going to have to go to where they're Trendane. I don't know where they're.
SgtStakas.
Yep, SgtStakas. You'll have to go there to their showroom to buy a ship from them, unless they've got some sort of used ship market. So what's to say that they don't have, once you get there, after you've been flying around the system for a few months, that there's a new, like at a, say, I don't know what you guys have got, Chevy. You go to a Chevy dealer, and all of a sudden on the rotating stand, there's a brand new Camaro or something. It's like, well, hey, what's to say that they don't introduce them that way?
That's a good point.
And there's another point of interest coming from that as well. I mean, maybe not so much showrooms, but what they've also mentioned, or at least what people have theory crafted upon, is that, for instance, that there might be a system where these ship hulls are created, and they're created like 5% stronger than in other, in other parts of the galaxy. So, you take the time out of your day to actually go there for that particular hull, rather than, buy the generic one that you can find everywhere. But again, you'll be paying more and you'll be traveling. But yeah,
I mean,
a good way
that's what
to
I'd like. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I was going to say a good way that they could put that into the lore is if there's a certain type of gas that you use for a catalyst when you're making the hull, and maybe that thing will denature, so you only have a limited range that you can ship it to. Yeah. So you have to, move it from point A to point B very quickly. It's kind of like In-N-Out. They won't freeze their meat, so you can't open a franchise more than 24 hours drive away from where they do their meat packing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. But I just, from my point of view, I want that. I want to be flying around in my ship and think, you know what, this is getting beat up. I want a new one. I want a different model, whatever. So I've got to fly a couple of systems away, and then when I get there, all of a sudden I look through the list of ships on my Mobiglass, whatever I'm looking at, and all of a sudden, brand new, just released this week, is a completely brand new ship, and it's just like, yes, take my money. Take it.
Oh yeah, it's.
Another thing that I might find interesting now that we're talking about it. I mean, in Eve, for instance, you go onto the market, and you can browse every market of every station of everything that's for sale ever at the same time, right now. But when you buy them, you still have to go pick them up. However, what they could do in Star Citizen, and I'm just spitballing here, is that they only show you the current day sales or whatever in the system that you're in. And then outside of that system, they show you day-old orders or day-old sales or stuff like that, so that you can still buy them or still put a bid on them, and then find out either they've been sold or they're gone or whatever. But to actually find like what the current day sales are, you'd actually have to go there.
Yeah,
it would take time for that information to travel anyway, so the delay makes sense.
Oh, sorry, everyone's just talking in the chat about Dogecoin going up. It's flying right now.
Dare you?
Well, since you find this show so boring, maybe
I'm sorry. No, it's he's telling me about it. He's like, oh, you got to check it out. I'm like, hold on, I'll check it out later. Got to finish the show. All right. Okay, let's move it on now. Next question. From Smomans. As it stands, the UEE Navy consists of one Bengal carrier. Hard to imagine one carrier controlling all of the UEE-controlled space. What ships and when will SIG populate the UEE Navy?
I don't think it actually consists of one Bengal carrier. The Second Fleet has a carrier, and that would be the Paul Steed, and that's where Squadron 42 is based out of. So there's more than one Bengal carrier in the entire Navy, that's for sure. But the Second Fleet, which is what the story revolves around, that has one carrier, as far as we know. So definitely they have multiple fleets. They probably have hundreds of fleets, and they all have their own. They probably all have their own carriers. Some might have multiple carriers. Who knows? Yeah,
but everybody in the audience is going, where did you get that from? We don't know. This is just a question that we're reading the questions you guys are asking. So,
Trendane, one question. Does it say anywhere about how many fleets the UEE has, or any kind of hint?
No. In my reading of the Tiber system in preparation for narrating that, it does say that the UEE supply lines are stretched to their limits. And so because of that, civilians can sometimes be contracted by the UEE to do supply runs into Tiber, which is the front lines for the Vandal War. But it doesn't specify anything. I think if I were to guess on where this question came from, it would be that in all the videos we've seen, I think it's always the same carrier, but that's because we're looking at the stuff for Squadron 42, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that would.
We know there's multiple fleets, right? There
should be. Yeah.
There's a fleet in Kronos, right? That's always there. I remember reading about other fleets. I mean, there's definitely more than one Bengal carrier in the entire UEE Navy.
They're made in Kylian is where they're manufactured. They're made in the Kylian system.
Specifically, everybody, Trendane is our lore master because he does all the reading. You do all the reading of all of these things, and you read it like 4 or 5 times before you probably even start recording it. Oh, no,
it's a lot more than 4 or 5 times.
He reads it 400 or 500 times before he even starts recording it. So he's boned up on all this equipment stuff.
And even then, they're filled with swears.
Yeah. And vapidity.
And the problem I'm running into now is that sometimes between the point where they're in Jump Point magazine and the point where they're posted to the main website where everybody can see them, sometimes things are changed a little bit. I didn't know that until a couple of days ago, and I'm like, oh shit, now I gotta go back and check everything and make sure it's all the same. Oh no.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's see. Next question. Bod asked, Chris Roberts mentioned last night, 10 for the chair, that there will be new hanger patch soon. Any ideas what this might entail other than the usual fixes? I think they're getting rid of the Christmas decorations for sure.
Yeah, and we might get our parody hangery thingy. Asteroid.
Oh, that'd be nice. Asteroid hanger, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think it'll spell Idris.
Talisman. We actually have about looks like 5 or 6 people in the audience tonight that don't know much about the game, and that's okay. I'm not calling you out or anything. I'm not going to say your name. Welcome. Yes.
Yeah. Welcome.
So if you have questions, just put it in brackets, and then we'll ask them. Yeah, there you go. Gallagher says put the question there like that, and then they come up, and we'll answer them in turn. Okay. And please, by all means, ask questions. It could be the newbiest question that you think we're going to make fun of. We won't. We'll answer them as we get to it.
Yeah. Well, we might make a little bit of fun of you,
no.
But it's all in good loving.
Yes.
Deep love.
Deep good deep loving.
Yeah.
Well, wait a second. That question that just came up with, I think is... Oh, okay. Never mind. This was from Andre 23232375. Why do you take so long to show some new gameplay videos?
You skipped a question.
No, I got the one from Bod.
No, I got the one.
Oh, yeah.
No, he said 7.5 at the end, and I didn't see that in the name.
There's a lot of 2s and 3s.
System. It's a completely different name.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't see it. He's invisible. Why do you take so long to show some new gameplay videos? Well, Andre, I don't think...
it's your fault.
Yeah.
Joe, this is all your fault.
How dare you?
How dare you, Joe?
I don't know. Is it?
Go ahead.
I'm not the developer. I'm just...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You may not have been here for the beginning of the show when we said that we are not developers. So
yeah.
Oops,
You can still blame Geekdomo though.
Yeah, you can definitely. I'm the one running the board here.
Yeah. We blame him for everything.
What am I looking at here? Oh, this is the new freelancer. They got rid of the huge, silly pillars. I'm just showing some stuff because we wanted to see stuff.
What?
There's a new concept for Terra.
There's something of an answer we can give to this question. They, meaning CIG, take a long time to show gameplay videos because they're busy crafting the gameplay. There's not much to show just yet. They're building out the dogfighting module, and once that's out in late March, early April, which is the time frame they're shooting for, then there will be tons of videos everywhere from a lot of different people, including us.
Yeah, I'm sure they could, currently we have like a 10-minute video of Chris Roberts and them playing the dogfighting thing, but to be honest, at the time when we looked at it, I wasn't that impressed. It was just, a simple representation thereof. And that's kind of the quality of the type of gameplay videos you'd be looking at. And I don't think that'll make a lot of people run hot and cold for it.
Yeah, that was like pre-alpha stuff. So
developers ignore this place like the plague, says Ranger XML. Yeah, we're a lot like Fox News. People just don't want to go on our channel.
No, please don't.
They don't want to come on here and talk with us. They're like,
never come back here again.
Yeah,
if you make that comparison.
Yeah,
means nothing to me.
Nothing like Fox News. So we might be vapid, right? But we have some principles.
We have some principles. Yeah, we don't make shit up usually. Okay, so I guess this is our last question. Oh wait, there was a huge one from Neurotoxin. That's the one I think they're asking about, Bod. So while we're getting that, if you can look that one up, just scroll back up real quick, Bod, and grab that one. While we're waiting for that one, I don't know about... What's that?
Isn't that the one about asymmetrical balance again? Because it's the same one.
Well, that one is, but the one from before. He did put like a tome of text, I thought.
Okay.
He does that.
Yeah. I thought once, yeah. Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, is there anybody? I think Core might be partially involved in Operation Pitchfork, at least to some degree. Now,
I know who runs it.
Okay. Since I mentioned the Tiber system, and it was mentioned in Jump Point magazine, this most recent issue of Jump Point magazine, I was wondering where exactly is Operation Pitchfork going to be focused? Because, there have been, as I read in the thing, many dozens of attempts to retake the Tiber system. And in every single case, the UEE has their ass handed to them by the Vandul. And so I kind of was wondering, is that where Operation Pitchfork is going to just... Nope, no, we are taking this back.
As far as I'm aware, the people currently in charge of Operation Pitchfork are not 100% certain on which system they want to hit yet. So right now it's Vandul Space.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
But I would assume that when they start, they would just keep going and going and going and going until everything is either taken over or everything has come to an end. I believe it is, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the ACES guys that are currently heading up Operation Pitchfork.
Oh. All right, so here is our final question, I guess, for the night. Talismaniac says, I don't know much about Star Citizen, but I hate microtransactions and games with real-world economies that penalize people that don't want to participate. Am I going to have problems with this game?
I don't know if you can call, buying a ship from somebody for like, $60, $70 a microtransaction, because that's a pretty big investment if you want to actually buy a ship for real world cash. But that's all player generated content for the most part. Mm-hmm. The actual ships that they build out in game, like the ones that CIG builds, you won't be able to purchase them. We're pretty much 100% sure you're not going to be able to purchase those with real world money. What you will be able to buy is if somebody actually models a ship out, animates it, rigs it, and hands it over to CIG for final, I guess, verification and putting it in engine, make sure everything works. People will be able to sell their own work, right, for money. But the economy, for the most part, the economy is going to be in game. That's the majority of the transactional things that are going to go on, and that all is going to be dealing with credits, UE credits, or whatever, if other currencies pop up, that kind of stuff.
As far as I'm aware, for everything that's been said about it, is once the game is out, right, you can buy a starter ship in Persistent Universe, you can buy a Squadron 42, and you can, to a very capped amount, and we're talking very low numbers, be able to buy UEC credits. That's as far as I'm aware on all the transactions that they'll allow post-release.
Talismaniac says, so a bit like the Team Fortress 2 player market.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the Dota 2 market.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. And really, it's since immersion is so incredibly important to them and to Chris Roberts in particular. I guess that's really kind of the basis of this whole project, is that he wanted to create an immersive universe. It naturally breaks immersion if you could just buy money in game.
Yeah.
They're just doing it right now because we're supporting it.
Yeah. I think the pledging system that we're using is a very bad example to use for how the game's actually going to run when it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is concerning to a lot of people that say, it's pay to win. This is how the game's going to come out.
It's a difficult thing to think about because this is somewhere that crowdfunding has never gone before.
Right.
Nobody really knows what's going to happen or what's going on. I doubt even Cloud Imperium really knows what they're really going to do, because it's just like people keep giving them money.
Another million. What are we going to do with this? I don't know. Let's buy some coffee or some gold lame shirts.
Let's retile the office.
Yeah.
It's just so much.
They just keep giving us millions, and the game's already pretty much set up to be developed. What are we going to give them now?
Yeah.
Obviously, they can't give us ships or things, because if they gave us everybody in Idris, then what's the point? So I mean,
maybe after 50 million, they'll say every another million we get now is for Star Citizen 2.
Exactly.
I mean, they'll definitely find ways to use the money.
Especially,
it's an MMO. They're gonna need the cash. So it's not like
Thanks
Star
for coming,
Citizen
Panda.
2 comes out in 2020, by the way.
Yeah.
2020.
No, I think one of the major advantages of Star Citizen is that the way that it's talked about, the way that Chris likes to talk about it, is that this would be it. This would be the pinnacle. There would be nothing else after this. No Star Citizen 2, no... I mean, that's the way that he likes to think about it, and that's the way that he likes to talk about it. So if we can believe him in at least that this will be his final attempt at making what he believes is his vision...
Magnum opus.
Exactly.
It is his magnum opus.
Then we can assume that if he even slightly, 75 to 80% pulls it off, then Star Citizen will probably be the the space sim for like the next 10 years or so.
This is his ode to joy.
Yeah.
$75 million stretch goal. When he dies, we launch him into space.
Well, why not? They did it for Scotty.
First we build an actual constellation, and then we send
Oh, God.
I don't know if I would actually fly.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to Hollywood with all the money.
They'll use the money. That's not... Yeah. There's I'm thinking that really they said, Chris Roberts said, I think on the last 10 for the Chairman, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to continuously upgrade graphics and just keep pushing the limit of what PCs can do into the future indefinitely. And I think that's really kind of that's the best way to go about this, because if you want to really create a universe, like a really persistent universe, and have its own lore and its player-generated stories and all that kind of thing, then you have to be in it for the long haul. And I think he is. I definitely think you're right. It's his magnum opus. This is his auteur project, so he's definitely in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
Well, Trendane, you would probably know. How much did WoW cost the minute it was launched? What was it, 15 years
$19.95
ago?
a month. Oh, sorry.
No, I mean to make the whole. Oh, funny.
The original thing, I don't know.
You don't know?
Like $4 million and like 3 developers in a shoebox.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
and that's been going now.
$63 million.
So
What?
close.
How much it cost?
Yep.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
I didn't think it was that
So-
much. Are you saying over the life of it? Or, I mean, in the beginning, how'd they come
No,
up with
in the
60?
beginning, it cost $63 million and 4.5 years to develop. I
So-
remember seeing an ad for it on the back of my Warcraft 3 manual. Like
The problem is with games like that span 4 or 5 years, is that half of that money was wasted at some point because they decided, hey, you know what, fuck it, all this shit is bad, let's redo this. And they start cutting stuff left and right, and eventually you'll realize that half the money that they spent on it just, could have been avoided if they just made the right thing from the start. But yeah.
How much was spent on Spore?
Oh no.
Like 500?
Oh.
No.
Well, I thought you don't know Trendane, or you just can't talk about it.
He probably knows.
He's under an NDA. He never can talk about how much that was spent.
The reason I brought up
I don't
WoW.
think he ever wants to talk about it again.
You coughed it out. You hacked it up like it was in your
I
lungs.
was just coughing. If you heard
Oh.
a name in it, that's you.
So I just brought up
Yeah.
WoW because it's been going for such a long time.
Yeah, 2004.
And it's a big institution. There's so many, even non-gaming people. If you mention World of Warcraft, they know what it is.
They
know what
tried it
you're
or
talking about. And I think if it's done right, Star Citizen could potentially be the modern day version of that. If they invest their money wisely, if they get enough of it to start with.
I think they got enough of it.
Another thing that strikes you is you're not really looking for WoW gamers here. You're looking for people that want the simulation experience. And there have been so many of them that over the years have just stopped gaming because there's nothing decent out there. And they're pretty much all coming back now because of Star Citizen. And I think because of that, Chris Roberts has really taken like a bite out of the market because these people are coming back. They may not have gamed for 10 years. And they're like, oh my god, this is awesome. Money.
Yeah.
Yep,
Or
and that's
they've
why.
just been-
That's why,
You see it. Yeah, that's why you see all this. A lot of these, people just because I know people personally who are like that. They still play X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, like once a year, every year, but they don't really bother with new games. They try to get into it, but they just don't feel like it, because they don't really want to play those kinds of games, and instead they're sort of stuck in that like mid 90s kind of gaming era. But now with Star Citizen, they're like, they're investing in buying ships and all sorts of stuff. So
This is a new question from Boil Down, real quick for Trendane. There's no bad noob questions. So, is Star Citizen going to be as good as anything from EA, the best game company ever?
No.
You think EA definitely is way better?
EA in 1994? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They knew what
good
they were
days,
doing.
yeah.
Early 90s.
When they lived
first
up to
started
their
out.
name. When they lived up to their name of being...
Right up to the point where they took over
yes.
Westwood.
I think that, in fact, when I go there next week, when I go to CIG, I have got some heavy-duty things to talk to them about when I get there. Yeah.
Gallimere, if Freelancer, you can get all these games on GOG.com. It's a really great site, and you can find Freelancer.
Get Free Space 2.
Free Space 2. All these games are like, what, $5 or something like that, or $4? It's really cheap.
Yeah, something like that. They're really cheap. They're definitely worth the price.
And they've been optimized to work on our new modern processors, which is something, believe it or not, if you plugged in like the old Privateer on your modern computer, it wouldn't run because it can't handle the clock speeds being so fast. So it like literally explodes. And,
Yep.
The first time I played the original Mech Warrior on where you had to go into the bar and you got a contract and
three colors, right?
The drop ship comes down, the door opens, and instantly my machine says you're out of bounds because my mech just took off and it was so fast I couldn't even see the terrain go by.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's a little.
Yeah, definitely get. If you want to get Free Space 2, there's you can actually get the original Free Space as well. There's a mod that's out called FS Port, which basically takes the Free Space 2 had a lot nicer, cleaner HD textures, and there's also texture mods that you have to get for that because it looks a lot better with the modern HD textures. So you get the new textures, and you can actually port the old campaign into the Free Space 2 engine, which is a lot better. And on top of that, in the Free Space 2 engine, they have a ton of stuff that people have made because they made it open source for a really long time, all of their editing tools. So people have made like Babylon 5 campaigns and Battlestar Galactica stuff and Star Wars things and all sorts of really cool mods and things that so there's a ton of stuff out there for you to take a look at. And Star Citizen stuff. Star Citizen stuff got put into the Free Space 2 engine.
We missed a question from Gratchimp. Sorry. All right, while we're waiting for the question to come around, let's go ahead and wrap up. So let's talk about our channels and everything, where people can find us, because it's already that time. Perfect. Go first.
So you can find me on Twitter at Perfekt Nerd. You can find me on YouTube at Perfekt Nerd. I am ridiculously busy right now.
What are you doing?
So I'm working on some other projects, like real-world projects that I'm doing in Southside Chicago. So that's taking up a lot of my time. I have a roof leak that's taking up a lot of my time. It's actually, there was a leak in my room because there were these massive ice walls that were outside of my window. They're called, so there was an ice dam on the roof, and because it was consistently in the negatives for like the past 2 weeks, it's just like it destroyed like the roof and the windows. So I got some stuff from my landlord to help deal with it in the meanwhile, and he's up there with propane jets melting all the ice. So lots of interesting things have happened.
So you've not been sleeping well?
No, I had to move my bed. I had to do other things. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff right now. I'm super busy, but hopefully I'll be back to a more reasonable schedule in like a few weeks or so.
All right, cool. Mr. Core.
All right. Well, I am the Core of Existence. You can find me on YouTube, on Twitch, on pretty much everywhere. Right now, I'm still streaming every night on my Twitch account. So
doing a lot of DayZ, right?
Right now, it's a lot of DayZ. Hopefully, tomorrow it'll be Dead State, which should be hitting alpha tomorrow, if they don't delay it again, because they did that last.
Are they in an NDA?
Nope, no NDA.
Oh, good.
So should be good. We'll see how that goes. Beyond that, I am going to start working on my YouTube a lot more, and hopefully with the release of the single-player games this month and next month, I'll be able to put up a lot of new content for that. And beyond that, I'm so fucking busy at work and with Imperium. It's just, I'm trying to find time just to sit down and say, hey, I've got nothing to do right now. But yes, I'm definitely having fun. So if you haven't already, come check out my channel, see if you like it, and hit the follow button. I greatly appreciate it.
Definitely go over and check out Core's channel. Hit the follow button, everybody. All right, Mr. Trendane.
What?
Where are you? What are you doing?
Oh, that. Well, I'm trending everywhere, as Death Rises was kind enough to specify in chat. Everywhere, and I do a lot of the narrations for the Galactic Guide entries. Nikki Batgirl recently kind of convinced me to look at the possibility of narrating the Dateline Session stories that are going up on the CIG site. So I'll probably do that. I started reading through them today. Aside from that, I will be gone next week. I am going to Houston to visit my father for the week, and I will be back the week after that. In my place will be Seppi. He's in the chat right now, and he'll be filling in my opening.
Space.
Wait.
No comment.
Yeah, I agree. No.
Move on from that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So any plans when you're going to meet up with Sig? Are you going to, like, stalk him and...
I'm supposed to go and visit them at the Austin office on next Friday at 4 p.m. So that's when I'm supposed to be there.
Cool.
Don't know what's going to happen when I get there. My hope is, since my dad is a pilot and was this close to being a helicopter pilot in Vietnam, my ultimate dream is to get him in there and for the guys to find out about that and say, well, here, check out this thing of the dogfighting module, and then I will be off talking to like Wingman and everybody else somewhere like in another meeting room or something, and I will hear my father going yee as he starts really having fun with it because I want to get my dad addicted to this thing. I would love to get my dad addicted to this game.
That's great.
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome, dude.
While you're there, Trendane, see if you can bug him to see if you can get at least somebody on the show. They avoid us like the plague.
Perhaps
Can
a
you
good
blame
reason.
Yeah, probably.
Can you blame them?
Nah, I guess not. No, never mind. Forget. Don't ask. Okay.
Vandal Vag? Really?
Not
right.
my idea. You talk to that man over there.
Look. It was. I don't even remember it. It's just. Okay, fine. It was me. Get over it.
Yeah, well.
All right, Stakas, tell us about your stuff.
I don't really have much stuff. I don't have a Twitch.
Good, thanks. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thanks. I don't have a Twitch yet. I don't have YouTube at all. But I do have a forum post on the Star Citizen Robert Space Industries site under the fan and art fiction Confessions of a Sailor. It's just a fictional, I guess it's tongue-in-cheek sort of look at being addicted to spaceships. There's a continuing theme throughout all the stories. They're all basically about a guy who sees these ships as more than just a material object. They're more to him than just a ship that you fly around with. He's got a real issue. He loves them.
Can you put the link to that up in the chat, maybe?
Sure, yeah, I can.
That'd be great.
Yep. And but that's about it. Other than that, you can find me usually bugging Domo and Landmark.
Well, I've seen you over on Core's channel too.
Oh yeah, all the channels.
Yeah, he's on all the Stakas is everywhere all the time. Real quick about me, I'm Geekdomo everywhere. Got my YouTube, got my Twitch, and Twitter. If any of you are looking for me anywhere, do that. I do want to put a special shout out to Bod, who's doing an excellent job with the
Thank you, Bod.
with the moderation tonight, as always. Great job, and I think next week we might have a spot for Bod. Everyone's asking when's he going to be on the show, so I think we'll probably swing him in here next week. If
I miss pancakes.
If he's up here, pancakes. I don't know what's going on with pancakes.
I miss pancakes.
Yeah. So it's sad. I don't know where Pancakes is.
Doesn't he live next door to you?
He lives real close to me, and I saw him the other day, and I said, "Hey, we want you on the show again this week." And he's like, okay. I think we hurt his feelings because we didn't invite him a couple of times, but we had other guests. So we'll try to get Pancakes back. I will drag him on the show at some point in the future, but for right now, I think it'll be Bod. and Sephi next week. All right, so that's it, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. Had a great show tonight. I hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll be back again next week with more news and vapidity.
For sure.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Thank you guys
everybody.
for having me.
See ya.
Be careless.
Good night.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye-bye.